Thank you, Matt. Finished a week last week against Arkansas State. Tough ball game that came down. We were behind in the second half, came back and got the lead by 8, 71-63. Let them tie it up on an Anthony Livingston three-pointer to make it 71 apiece, and then we took over from there and were able to hit some shots and win the basketball game by 10 going down the stretch. So good win for us. Had a quick turnaround. Things worked out the way we wanted it to in Monroe on Thursday night, as Monroe wound up beating Little Rock, but then we weren't able to do that on Saturday, and it was disappointing. Looking back now, I wish the roles were reversed because Little Rock hadn't lost 2 in a row all year. They came in and gave us a great shot. We got off to a poor start, and at the end of the half, I think it was 24-20, maybe the last 4 minutes of the first half, and they outscored us 14-2, something like that. And then we scored right at the end to get a basket and a three-point play to cut it to 11. Come out the second half after shooting 1 for 12 from 3 and make a couple late. Go 2 for 7. Steve hits 2 late ones. Made a nice run at the end and got it to 1 point and had an opportunity to foul. We did exactly what we wanted to do, fouled Roger Woods. We're going to go with him or Shoshi, and Woods had the ball, so we fouled him. He's a 58% shooter, 59%. He makes a 1-and-1, which, it's not a 2-shot foul either. It's a 1-and-1. So had everything going right for us. There were 14 and a half seconds to go. We were going to attack the basket with Jonathan Stove and go get a quick 2, and felt like he may get fouled. He's a good free throw shooter. He's 10 for 10. If they helped, we'd kick off for 3. Jonathan had the ball knocked loose by Roger Woods. Scramble on the floor. Jay Wright makes a great effort play and keeps the ball alive, but Hayward forced a 3 with about 4 seconds to go. We had more time, and we also had a timeout that I can't call anymore, which is disappointing with the new rules. So we needed to react and call timeout. I saw a game like that. Florida State did the same thing last night against Miami. They had the ball knocked loose and had 6 seconds to go and forced a terrible shot instead of relaxing and calling timeout and getting what you wanted. But disappointing loss for our guys. Little Rock outplayed us early. They're a tough team to play from behind when they run the clock down the entire time, and they control the game with their guards. We did a nice job on Higgins early, I felt like. He hit 3 bombs, very good player. He'll be up for player of the year. He's definitely a first-team all-league guy. And Marcus Johnson's a really good player too, and you guys didn't get to see that, but he's fantastic. I thought we did a nice job on him and kept him off the boards a little bit. But Roger Woods hurt us, Higgins hurt us. We didn't want him shooting a lot of three-point shots, but we didn't want to give him as many layups as we did either. They did make enough tough 2s to win the game. They have to make some, and they made some. So good win by them. I think they've got the second-best record in the country. And they're a good basketball team, and they may not lose again. So from a standpoint of us not getting in the first place, that's disappointing because we had a chance. And now we're in second place by ourselves, and we control our destiny. We're going to have to come out and play well, and got a very tough week this week at Arlington, who's won, I think, 3 in a row or 4 in a row, maybe 3, after dropping a couple of games on a road swing. And when you play head-to-head with those people, you need to go beat them. We've played well at Arlington in the past. Sean's had big games there. Hayward Register's had big games there. And hopefully that'll continue on Saturday. I felt bad about losing at home, certainly, with our group because we had set the record at the Dome. We wanted to go undefeated. That was one of our 3 goals that we talked about with you guys back in the fall. And then I get home and I realize that Oklahoma loses at home. Baylor loses at home by 18. South Carolina loses at home by 27. The other team doesn't even have a coach. Wichita State had won 43 in a row. They lose at home. So Valentine's weekend wasn't good to the home people. That's for sure. But we got to turn it around and go play, starting with Texas Arlington on Thursday night. And we need to shoot the ball better. We're not going to win many games going 3 for 19. I know we talked about that the other day. 7 for 43, wasn't it? 2 games against those guys. But we can play better, and we will.
Knowing, like you said, that there's a possibility Little Rock could even win out regular season, do you take a protect second mentality, or do you just like forget about the standings and don't even bring that up and focus on just playing out?
Yeah, I think it's both, Tim. I think you just take care of your business, control what you can control. I mean, we can, if we went out, we'll get second, correct? That's going to be difficult to do too. But Little Rock could take a bump. And there's 6 games left to be played. There's a lot of basketball left. They're at Georgia this week. They've got Arlington also, and Texas State at home. I mean, Texas State lost to them in overtime. Hagen's hit one of those shots he hit against us at the end of the game to win it at San Marcos. So there's still some time, but we just need to take care of our business and try to win. And the first one's on Thursday at Arlington, and it'll be a tough one.
What becomes your focus now in terms of what you want to refine on the court from now to the tournament?
Well, we got to get better. We worked on guarding the ball last week, and we got beat off the bounce too many times, so we need to guard the dribble. And we certainly need to make three-point shots. Disappointing that we didn't make any. I think if we make some in the first half, that it's probably a different ball game. We're not playing from behind, but they do a good job defensively. They wore us down a little bit on the offensive end by playing defense for 25 seconds every time.
What does it say about what Eli's been able to do for you to put him in the game? The clutch situation there, the last seconds of the game for him to get that steal and get a layup. I mean, he hasn't been on the team very long.
We have confidence in him, certainly, in those situations, and we know he's quick and explosive and low to the ground, a good center of gravity. But we worked last week on some special situation teams, and he's certainly on one. When you want to deny the ball from coming in bounds, then he's a guy that we want out there on the court. It'd be no different than a onside kick receiving team in football, have a hands team. Special situation like that, we feel certainly can play. He's playing better and better, and his role hopefully will increase.
How does somebody earn the trust to be on one of those teams, though, in such a short amount of time, especially with guys having been practicing and working towards that for a while?
Just making the plays in practice and doing it consistently. And I haven't looked at the stats that close with him, but does he have a turnover on the year? I don't know that he does. He certainly made a couple of baskets. He missed a 3 the other night in the first half. It wasn't a bad look. But he's done a good job, and he's more than a defensive player, too. He certainly can help us, and his speed's outstanding.
When you look at Arlington, I know Hervey didn't play first game, but do you see them doing anything differently with him not in there?
Not really. And I talked to Scott Cross back before our first game, Dan, and he said that the thing that really would hurt him was that Hervey was a guy they could play through offensively. It'd be like us losing Sean, I think, a guy that you really count on to score and rebound the ball and get touches, that he's not out there. And Hervey's a great rebounder, but yet their teams continue to rebound. They're shooting all those three-point shots. And because of that, they're long rebounds. So, they're ahead of us nationally rebounding the basketball with a number of rebounds, total number. And they're very good defensively, too. They're still just as tough defensively. And I like Little Rock. Their team plays aggressive. And they've been good all year. They started the year good after their foreign tour, got off to a quick start when they had Hervey, and they've continued to play that way.
How important was it for you guys to get a couple wins on the road to have the confidence that they could do that after the rough start there?
Well, in conference play, what did we lose? We lost at Little Rock, who hadn't lost at home. No, Monroe, go back. Yeah, Monroe hadn't lost at home all year, and neither has Little Rock. And I said at the time we left Monroe, I told the coaches, not many people will win in Monroe, and they haven't. Hope somebody does. Coming up, there are 2 more opportunities for that. But those were 2 of the games. Then we lose to A-State's the 3rd game. That a game that we could have won and should have won probably. But the breaks didn't go our way, and we lost. And we won the rest of them. And last year we finished by winning, I think, our last 5 true road games throughout the season. And it's time to go win again. But we do have more confidence, yes, from going on the Georgia trip. That turned our season around at that time and gave us confidence on this home streak.
This, really throughout college basketball, but even especially in the Sun Belt, teams are faring much better at home than on the road. And here you don't see a ton of big crowds. It's not like you can point that as a factor. So what do you think is the difference between playing home and road and why we're seeing
It has been a trend with major college basketball. Jay and I talk about it a lot. Winning on the road in college basketball is one of the hardest things to do with the crowd sometimes. But we go on the road this week to Arlington. I'll have some friends from Texas that are there, but I don't know how many Cajuns will travel with us. So we don't have a big group at the game. It's us and Matt and Jay and our trainers, and it's usually a short group, and that's good. Sometimes we rally behind each other as a team when we do that. But the trend throughout college basketball this year has been, I was looking at the RPIs yesterday, and man, there are a lot of teams that are won 1 or 2 games on the road, and a lot of the major teams haven't played that many, and then they get in conference play and they don't win. So, and I think that hurts them as well. In a perfect world, we could have beaten Monroe, beaten Louisiana Tech, or Pepperdine, and we didn't. We bit off more than we could chew probably early, but yet we've rebounded and done pretty well since we got into conference play, and hopefully that'll continue. But you just have to play better, Luke. Little Rock didn't have a lot of people here either the other day, but they came in and I thought they played hard, and they won the game basically in the last 4 minutes of the first half. They got ahead of us, and we had to play from behind, and that's difficult to do. We've done that 2 games in a row, and we got close. We're right there. It happened. If Woods misses that free throw, I think we win the game.
How much is how teams have been playing Sean exactly what you expected they would do?
They've done a good job, and I would say Little Rock probably did as good a job as anybody, probably the best job defensively, not letting him get touches. Sean got frustrated. We blew a couple of defensive coverages early in the game that weren't his fault, and they looked bad, but it wasn't on him. We were trying to protect on the wings so hard with Johnson and Higgins that we were concerned and didn't have somebody back in the lane to help him on the roll when we tried to double out top. But he got frustrated, and then offensively he got frustrated as well. It's 2 games in a row. He scored 2 points the second half, and they were both in the last minute of the game.
Everybody good?
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Coach.